that. It's gorgeous. Just look at that. Ugh. Look how pretty that is. I love that. That is such a good lip combo. What do you guys think? Look at that. Look at that lip liner mixing with that lipstick. We're just giving. Hi you guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I'm so excited for this video because we are doing a tutorial. We are doing a holiday makeup look. What's on my face today? A little bit of a smoky eye, nude lip, some shimmer, some glittery vibes. I love this look. This is one that also is just like such a good go-to for like a winter look where you want it to be a little bit more smoky, but you want it to be not so smoky that it's like overwhelming and you look a little bit too intense, because I know a lot of people feel like smoky eyes can look a little too intense on them. I feel like this is a really good look, and you don't have to go with darker colors. You can go with brown tones, you can go with lighter. There's options to make this smoky look work for you if you don't like something necessarily this dark, or you like something darker, because they didn't go crazy dark with this at all. I'm really happy with how this look turned out, and I would love to know what you think down below. And I kind of just want to jump into this video and get started because tutorials take so long, and I feel like this is gonna be such a long video. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this smoky eye holiday makeup. All right, you guys, we are doing another holiday makeup look. We are in close, face is bare. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna just jump right in because I feel like tutorials always like take so long because you gotta explain, talk, whatever. So first I'm gonna do my brows as I always do. I'm gonna go on with the Rose Ink Clear Brow Gel first. And when it comes to holiday looks and stuff like that, I kind of try to use stuff I'm really comfy with and stuff I just know is always going to look good, because I feel like holiday events and holiday things like that always end up taking a really long time, or not taking a long time, but they last super long, and you want your makeup to last really long and you want to know how something wears. I don't really like to experiment when it comes to like event and holiday makeup look like products. I don't like to really try something new unless I know it's just going to be a couple of hours, and then I'll experiment. So next I'm going to go on with this brow pencil, which you know is my fave. This is the Westman Atelier brow pencil, and I wear the shade Bark. I'm going to link everything down below. And we're just gonna kind of fill in a little bit, but I don't want my brows to be super intense. Next, we're moving on to primer, and there are a couple of primers I like to use for nights out, specifically depending on where my skin is at, but also for like nights out or events, stuff like that. I like to go with something a little bit more gripping. So this is the Cover FX gripping. We're starting the video off all tongue-tied. Cover FX gripping primer, and I really like this stuff. There's a bunch of gripping primers out there that are really good. The LYS Beauty one is also really good. It's not quite as long lasting as this, but it still has some tack to it, and that's what you want. You want your skin to be a little bit of like sticky so that makeup lasts well on it. So I'm just gonna kind of put it in the middle of my face where makeup kind of tends to disappear the fastest. All right, blended into the skin. Next, let's move on to foundation. So there are a bunch of options I could have picked for foundation for today, but I kind of want to do this one. So we're doing this one, the House Labs foundation. You guys know I really enjoy this one. But I do think that there's a right way and a wrong way to apply it depending on kind of your tools and stuff like that. I like to use my fingers or a brush. I'm gonna use my fingers first. I don't love, this is how much I have on the back of my hand. I don't love applying this with a sponge initially. I feel like it makes my skin look really textured, but buffing it out once it's already blended out with my fingers, I like to do with a beauty sponge. Also the shade I wear in this is the shade 330 Medium Cool. And I feel like it's a pretty decent match. You'll have to let me know what you think. I'm just gonna do a little bit. I don't wanna overdo this, but I wanna put enough that it has, look at that. It's just so gorgeous on the skin. It really does, when you blend it out with your fingers, look like skin. And that's ideal, that's what we want. Now for event makeup, I do really like to ensure that everything is really blended out really well. Sometimes I'll just go one go around and like just be fine with how it blends in. You know, a lot of products blend in really well, but then sometimes I feel like when I'm going to be around a lot of people, or I'm going to be doing I don't know, there's going to be photos, but there's also going to be like in-person interactions. I do like for it to be a little bit more really blended out well, but still have good coverage, if that makes sense. This is a medium coverage foundation. It's really nice and skin-like looking when you get up close. I'm going to take a beauty sponge and I'm just going to really push into the skin and make sure it just melts and picks up any extra product that doesn't need to be there. So next we're going to move on to concealer. Now there's a couple of options that you can go with. I have two that I have for today. I have the Hint Beauty concealer and I have the Kulfi concealer. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a little combo of the two, and I'm going to use a very small amount of both. So I really like the Kulfi concealer. It's a nice medium coverage concealer and the shade is really good. And I'm not going to put too much. Okay, so next we're gonna go on with a touch, just a small amount of the Hint Beauty Concealer. This is the shade Medium Tan. Again, I'm gonna list all the shades down below. In the Kulfi Concealer, I think I wear Mango Drop. Yes, Mango Drop, great shades. I like something a little bit more bright than maybe I would in summer. Just obviously this is me very not tan. I have no tan. It's disrespectful. I'm gonna take the smallest amount of concealer and just dot it right here. I don't want it to be too much. Just dot it, and I'm actually going to blend this with my fingers, and I'm not going to wait for this to dry down because the consistency of this concealer is definitely a little bit thicker, but not in a bad way, but in a way where like you don't have to really worry about it like going into your fine lines. And I'm just going to kind of focus right here. I'm not going to drag it all the way. I just want the brightening right at the front and kind of right here. Next, we're going to move on to the bronzer. This is the bronzer that I'm going to be using today. This is the Rose Ink Cream Bronzer, and I'm just going to apply a little bit. I don't want to over apply bronzer. I do want to look tan, I guess, but I also want it to look natural. And I think sometimes we can all of us hold hands and agree that sometimes we put bronzer and then you look back and you're like, whoa, I looked kind of crazy, or it's really strong line on your face and you're like, whoa, I didn't want that. I wanted it to look more natural. I have had that on occasion for a couple of events actually, where I over apply bronzer, especially when it's like winter, because I'm like, I need all the bronzer, give it to me. And then I look at the pictures. I remember this one specific New Year's. I was like I must have been like 24 or 23, something like that. And it was really, it might have been actually 22. It doesn't matter, whatever age I was. And I put a bunch of bronzer on because I really felt really pale. And sometimes bronzer just changes your life. And I looked back at the pictures, and after like the night was over, like we reconvened and we talked about the night and looked at pictures, and I was like, my bronzer is so intense. And me and all my friends had this really stark line of bronzer that just looked a little bit too much. Okay, I'm happy with how that's looking. It's blended out really nice. I like this bronzer a lot. This is the shade Seychelles, and this just gives me like skin. This gives my skin life without being too much. And I do think in general, a heavier hand when you have pictures and stuff like that is better, but sometimes it can be super apparent if the blend isn't really there. Especially if you're doing a contour. Contour can be a little bit nuts. Okay, next I think what I want to do is I want to set kind of the middle of my face, and I'm going to do the Kosas powder for that. I'm also testing the Westman Atelier setting powder, but I do think I want to do the Kosas at first, and I might add a little bit more setting powder, girl, a little bit more setting powder as we go on. Okay, I'm happy with how that's looking cute, skin's looking good, I'm into it. Let me know what you think down below about progress so far. Okay, so the next we're moving on to cheeks. I have a couple of options. I have the frog in my throat. I have the Ilia multi-stick in the shade Ladybird. If I use this, I'm gonna layer. I also have the Bare Minerals blush bronzer duo Gen Nude thing. I love these. These are amazing. In the shade Kiss of Pink. I want something that gives me a a flush, but it isn't like too intense. And then I also have, where is it? Oh, here, the Cover FX Blush Duo in the shade Warm Honey. This is great. I've used this on camera before. It's really nice. So I think I'm actually going to go with the shade Ladybird right now. I might layer. I think I might layer because I do want blush, but I also want it to look somewhat neutral. And I feel like this is a good neutral pink tone. And I'm just going to apply here. I don't want it to be too far down, if that makes sense. I kind of want it to be a little bit more of a subtle flush, so I'm going to kind of focus it towards the back. But I'm still going to pull a little bit forward because on my face, it looks better when I do have blush like right here. But it doesn't have to be too far forward. I know a lot of people like it higher up now. It all depends. The blush trends kind of change as, you know, it kind of goes, but I do feel like a lot of the time, apples of the cheek is really good. But I know a lot of people like to kind of sculpt their face. It all depends on your preference. Okay, I am happy with that. It looks cute. So the next, I do think I'm going to set with a little bit of powder blush. And I could set with the setting powder, but I do feel like I want a little bit of powder blush. So I'm going to take a little bit of the Bare Minerals one, dip a brush in, and then clean the brush off on the back of my hand, and then lightly tap. Lightly, just over where the blush is. I don't like to apply too much blush when I'm going a little bit more ham sandy on my eyes. Okay, that looks good. I'm happy with how that's looking. I'm going to take this brush here, and I'm just going to go around the edge to kind of melt it into the skin a little bit more and kind of make it look a little bit more natch. All right, happy with how that's looking. I feel like that looks pretty good. If I want to add a little bit more, I can. Also, if I want to take a little bit away, I can. But also remember that blush fades relatively quickly. So if it feels like it's too much, within probably an hour or two, it's going to be a lot less. So don't be stressed. Next, let's move on to eyes. Actually, I'm not going to do highlighter just yet. So let's do it. Eyes. I'm going to prep my eyes with the PYT eye primer. I really like this stuff. It's really good. Makes my eye makeup just last really long, but also grips on to, like, if you're doing glitter or anything like that. This is a good one. Okay, so I'm happy with that. A little bit of primer. I am going to set it with a little bit of powder, just to kind of, you know, you don't want any of your stuff skipping. Okay, next we're going to move on to eyeshadows. I have a bunch of things that I'm thinking of doing, but I do want to make it relatively simple, but I'm not really sure. So I'm going to actually go into this palette here from Persona Cosmetics, and I'm going to go into the shade Charming, which is this brown color here. And I'm just going to put that through my crease. You can also just do like a powder bronzer, or you can do a cream bronzer. I just didn't grab a powder bronzer, so I'm doing this one. So I kind of flicked it out a little bit this way, and I'm happy with how that's looking. So then next, I'm going to take the next darkest brown color here, and I'm going to create a little bit of a V where, like right in my, right here. And I always take my finger and blend just the edge a little bit. Fingers are just the best blending tool, I swear. Okay, so then next I do want to do a little bit of a darker shadow, but I want to go with a dark brown first before I do black or anything like that. So I'm going to go on with this shade here. This is shade Fearless from the palette. There are a bunch of awesome palettes that have literally all these shades, like the Jason Wu Beauty, like Fully Mattes palette. That one's really good for this. And I'm actually going to take this pencil, this slanted brush here, and I'm going to kind of create and just stamp. And then next, I'm going to take a really thin brush like this, and I'm going to kind of create a slight wing, nothing crazy, but just a slight wing. I don't want it to be too intense. I just kind of want to lay like a line down before I do eyeliner. Do you ever have a hard time trying to get the eyeliners to match? Because I do every dang day. Okay, I'm happy with that. Next, I'm going to move on to eyeliner. Also, just put a little lip balm on because lip mask on because my lips are screaming. I'm testing out a new lip mask, and so far I'm loving it. So next, I'm going to go on, I think, with this eyeliner here, the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal eyeliner, and I'm going to go with the shade Black because I do want it to be like smoky, but I don't want it to be too much. Oh, I need to sharpen her. Good thing I actually thought ahead and got a sharpener. Because sometimes I don't. Whoa, that is so sharp. Look at that. The sharpest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so I'm gonna lightly put this down and we're gonna kind of smudge. I want it to be kind of a grungy flick out, but then we're also gonna kind of grungy flick out. I have a vision for this. We'll see if it works out. I feel like my visions never really come to life. I'm not that good at like getting my eyeshadow to look exactly how I want, but I feel like that's a lot of people. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of line my lashes. I don't want it to go all the way forward. Depends on your eye shape and what eye shape you want. If you want your eyes to look super round, kind of pull it a little bit further front and pull it out and make it a little thicker towards the back, and then don't do the flick out. You don't have to do the flick out to get like a really good smoky eye, but I'm going to do that today. And then I'm going to take this type of eyeshadow brush, and then I'm going to kind of just mesh it all out, and I'm going to kind of just pull out. I don't want to pull the eyeliner all the way up to where it was before. When I'm setting it down, I want to kind of smoke it out to be like that. Does that make sense? Do you see? And don't worry, eyeliner doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. I think gone are the days where you have, or not gone are the days, but gone are the times where you feel like everything has to be like really perfect. You can clean up with like a paper towel or any type of napkin or whatever, or just with your fingernail if your nails are sharp enough, or just anything. Like you get a credit card and do it, which I have done, and I really like that. So I'm happy with how that's looking so far. I feel like it's a really nice wing, and I feel like it's real cute. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, I'm really happy with how that's looking. I do want to build that up more. That isn't going to be just how it lays down. So I'm going to take a little bit more eyeliner and I'm going to place it down. There's a lot of different orders in which you can do this. I'm going to just kind of, I'm going to do one eye at a time. What am I thinking? And I'm going to take a little bit more of a fluffy brush. I'm going to take a brush like this here, which is a little bit fluffier, and I'm going to blend it out. And that just gives like a little bit more of a smoky look to it. But it also like, I don't over apply the black because I do find I could technically have done this before I did any of the other eyeshadows. But I find that when I do that, it ends up, for me personally, looking a little bit too harsh. So I tried to kind of slowly build and blend stuff out. And that is just giving like a little bit more smoke without being too much. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so then next, I'm happy with how that's looking. Trust the process. Always trust the process, you guys. I'm going to go into this shade here in the, this is a PYT palette. This is probably my most used one, the Cool Crew Nude palette. And I'm going to dip into the shade 9. And I'm going to very lightly apply that. I'm happy with how that's looking. Again, remember, you need to trust the process with everything. I'm going to go into this shade here and drag this on the lower lash line. Just to create a bit of a shadow. So that looks, I'm happy with how that is giving me a little bit of shadow under the eye, but it isn't too much. Next, I'm going to dip back into that shade 9 in this palette. I love this palette, it's so good. I have like most used shades like in this palette that you can see that I dip in all the time, but then I also like all of these mattes are amazing. I'm going to dip into that and just very lightly, I'm not going all the way. Do not go, I mean, you can go all the way if you want, but I'm not going to go all the way around. And I'm just going to kind of pull that into here. Okay, so then I'm going to take this blending brush here and I am going to kind of pull in. I'm not adding any color to it, but I'm going to kind of blend. Okay, really happy with how that's looking, really happy with how that's blended out. Next, we're gonna go on with some shimmer, glittery type situations. So I'm gonna go on with this from Rowan Beauty. This is their Disco Eye in the shade Universal. Or is it just called Disco Eye? I think it's in the shade Universal, and this is such a pretty color. I have been loving using this the last like month and a half. I've been testing this out and I really enjoy this. This is beautiful, and I have a little bit on my finger, and what I'm going to do is, this isn't like shimmer crazy. I'm gonna dip this in and I'm gonna kind of just put it all over my lid. Like, look at that. Are you gagged? Like, this is crazy. Look at that, look at that. But it isn't one of those shimmers that will fall all over your face, but it is like, it goes on so beautifully. You can tap it, you can pull it around. Tapping it is probably the better idea of the two, but look at that. It's just so shimmery and so pretty. And it's just gorgeous. I mean, it's just such a pretty shade. And I also think like this is one of those that like is on camera isn't going to look as good as it does in person. And I wanted to go over the smoke and the wing and just do that. Then I'm also going to take a little bit of this shade here, which is like a little shimmery glittery shade, and I'm going to take a brush like this and just dip into it. It's really sparkly, and then I'm going to kind of tap it off, and I am going to really lightly kind of apply it, and this just adds an extra oomph of like shimmery glittery vibes. And it's going to be hard to tell kind of on camera a little bit, but it's gorgeous. Just look at that. Ugh, look how pretty that is. It's just so good. So you have like the little bit of a bigger glitter shade from the Rowan Beauty one, which is just amazing. But then you also have like the more subtly shimmer of the or glitter of the PYT eyeshadow color. Okay, so happy with that. So happy with how that's looking. I'm gonna put a little bit more of this darker gray shade on my lower lash line, just to add a little more intensity to the smoke, now that we have everything down and we know what we're kind of looking like. Sometimes it's like building, like you have to build slowly with eyeshadows, and don't feel like if it doesn't look perfect right away, again, we're not pulling it all the way forward. If it doesn't look exactly what you want it to look like right away, again, trust the process. Okay, I'm so happy with how that's looking, you guys. It's so cute. Next, we're going to go on to lashes. So I do think we're going to do some falsies, but I am going to go on with the mascara first. I have two mascara options. I have the Milk Makeup and the Jones Road. I think I'm going to go with the Jones Road Beauty one. I do need to buy a new one of these because she is definitely expired. We'll see. I feel like I hold on to mascaras for so long, and then I'm like, oh, it's expired. Complaining about it. But it's my fault. You could have repurchased. Okay, happy with that. I'm not applying too much mascara because, again, we're going on with lashes. I'm going to do my lower lash line after I apply lashes because lashes can be kind of a pain in the butt. We're going to go on with lash glue, and I'm going on with these trio lashes from Kiss. This is what the box looks like. These are great. You can get them CVS, anywhere, and I go on with this. I like this lash glue from Duo. There's a bunch of lash glues out there. Just use whatever works for your eyes, because I do think some people are really sensitive to lash glue, some people aren't. What I like to do is, first things first, make sure you have a set of tweezers that are clean. Clean them off. If they have any amount of tackiness noise, clean them off. And then I also have these tweezers here that I kind of clip everything together once I'm done. Clean these off as well, because between both eyes, because once you do one eye, there will be tackiness from the mascara and the glue, and then you kind of stick to lashes. Now, the best way I think you can apply lashes is to kind of grab at the base here, at the way end, and pull it up. You can also do that with your fingers. It doesn't have to be with a tweezer. It kind of depends. A lot of the time people find it hard to do it with tweezers, but it depends. So then I have my lashes here. Make sure it's in the right direction with the right hand, like this. I have lash glue on the back of my hand. I let it kind of get a little bit tacky. I apply a little bit of lash glue, and then I look down into a mirror, and that's the best way I have found to apply lashes. So that's what we're gonna do. I really like those. These lashes are great. And I'm only going to do a few. You can kind of do as many as you want, really. But I like to do just a few, just a little bit to kind of jazz it up a touch without it being too much. And it just kind of wings it out a little bit. These are really, really pretty. I generally go with this medium length lashes. You can do short, you can also do long. I kind of try to go with ones that are the length of my lashes naturally. But it all depends on what you prefer. Okay, why did I put it down like that? Sometimes you put lashes down and it's like, girl, what is happening? Okay, I love that. I love these lashes. They're really, really comfortable too, which is ideal because lashes normally drive me up a creek with anger. I'm gonna do a little bit of lower lash mascara now before we move on to highlighter and lips. Okay, I'm loving that. I feel like it looks so good. Next, we're gonna move on to highlighter. Now, you can do any type of highlighter on New Year's. I'm kind of like the bigger the better, the jazzier, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go actually on with this Jason Wu Beauty highlighter trio palette, and I have these two shades here, even though this one's so pretty too. No. I'm like going out of, I'm gonna dip into both of these shades here and create kind of a mixies shade, and I'm gonna do on the back of my hand. I'm gonna take my finger and I'm gonna really apply it just right here. Just look at that. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. And I know in general, I tend to do a more natural makeup look, but oh my gosh, it's so good. I mean, look at that. It's so good. I'm just obsessed. Okay, love that. It's giving smokiness. I do kind of want to put a little bit of something here, but I don't want it to be a shimmer. I want it to be kind of just like a neutral shade, and so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Just a touch on the back with my pinky finger that's clean finger. I'm gonna just apply a little bit of a brightening shade right here. So I used this shade right here in this PYT Cool Crude Nude palette. It's the shade 1, really good. Adds a little bit of brightness, but it doesn't like add too much. I love that. Okay, so the next we're moving on to lips, you guys. I'm really excited. So I think I'm gonna do a neutral, like nudie tone lip. And I have 2 lip liner options here, both brown. I have Victoria Beckham Beauty 05, which you all know is my favorite. And if you don't know, hi, welcome to this channel. Oh my gosh, I need to sharpen this. I am obsessed with Victoria Beckham lip liners. They're just so good. But then I also have this one here from Jason Wu Beauty, the shade Luminous. And they're similar but different. So this one here is the shade Luminous, and this one here is the shade 05 from Victoria Beckham Beauty. You know what, I'm going to do Jason Wu Beauty, and I'm going to line my lips with it. Anyone else lips have been struggling, I would take this lip balm on that I have off, or lip mask on that I have off, but I have been struggling. Okay, this looks insane. That looks cray, and I'm gonna just kind of do that. It looks warmer again. A lot of like browns look warmer in the monitor I'm seeing than they do in real life. Do that. And then my 2 favorite nude lipsticks. I have the Merit Beauty in the shade Slip, but then I also have the Kosas in the shade Vegas. They're both so good. Which one, you guys? I'm kind of thinking this one is going to be it, the Vegas. I have backups of both of these lipsticks because they're so good. And I'm going to just apply and focus more on the middle. Oh my God, I love that lip combo. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. My lips are so cute and it's just so good. I love the combo. The whole look is crushing. I was going to do a little bit more cheeks, but I don't think I'm going to do that because I'm really happy with how that's looking. I feel like it looks really good. This is going to be intense for my day. I got other stuff to do, but I love this look. This is definitely something I'm going to be wearing during New Year's. I really enjoy this. I would love to know your thoughts down below on this holiday makeup look. What's your go-to? I know a lot of people like to do a nudie lip and a more smoky eye, or like a bright lip. Put it in the comments. I'm always want to know. Yeah, that's it for this holiday makeup look. This like smoky eye, glitter eye holiday makeup look. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.